we head out and hook up with
Ruben Brown. Ruben Brown joins us. Ruben Brown, of course, the former EC Glass standout, All-American at Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Panthers, and All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowl selection with the Buffalo Bills and Chicago Bears. Great NFL career. Ruben, how you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. It's great to speak with you guys.
Great to catch up with you, Ruben. Tell us what's keeping you busy now. Are you still in Buffalo?
No, I'm not in Buffalo anymore. I actually moved away from Buffalo a couple of years ago. I have a house in Sag Harbor, Long Island, and I've been down there, and I've just been raising kids.
Long Island, that's my old stomping grounds. Way to go, Ruben.
Yeah, I actually found a vacation home there while I was playing football, and I always wanted to retire to Sag Harbor, and I found me a nice place and to move down there. And you know, my kids didn't like the initial move, but now they love it, and everything's going great.
Are you on Sunrise Highway or the LIE or what? We got horns blowing?
I'm all the way at the end. I'm practically almost at the end of Long Island.
Oh, wow.
Ruben, you said something about kids. How many children do you have?
I have 3 kids. I have 2 boys and 1 girl. My 2 boys are actually in college right now, thankfully. I'm glad COVID didn't hold that up. I needed to get them out of the house. I'm sure every parent in America is feeling that right now in some way, shape, or form. But my oldest son is attending the University of Buffalo. He's in his last year. He's studying physical training, and he's a walk-on for the UB Buffalo Bulls. And my youngest son is in his first year at Pitt Bradford, and he's a wrestler. My daughter is in her 11th grade year at Southampton High School, and I'm looking for great things for her to head off to college soon in 2 years. Great.
Ruben, you were inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2015, recently nominated for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2021. When you got the news, what was your reaction?
Well, everyone that's nominated for the Hall of Fame is always excited and, you know, happy to be mentioned in that group. It's a tremendous honor just to be nominated, because you think of all the great football players that are either in the Hall of Fame or waiting to go in the Hall of Fame. So, you know, it's a great class and a great group to be mentioned in when it comes to football.
Yeah, and obviously that reflects back on what a tremendous career you had for so many years, you know, with the Buffalo Bills and ending your career with the Chicago Bears. When you reflect back, you know, what are some of the best memories that you have from playing?
Oh, man, I have so many great memories of playing against great athletes and playing alongside great teammates. My teammates, you know, I played with the great Bruce Smith, who I sat next to many a days, you know, Jim Kelly, Andre Reed, Thurman Thomas, Steve Tasker, guys like that. And then also playing against guys like Cortez Kennedy, who I think was one of the greatest D linemen ever to play the game. And he and I were friends before he passed away, even though we were great competitors. So those are the types of things I remember from my playing days. Even the games, I don't want to get into the minutia of some of the games because there's all types of great and fun things that happened. Playing against John Randall from the Minnesota Vikings, you know, playing against Chester McLaughlin, and, you know, there's several other guys. I played against Russell Maryland. I played against Chris Dolman. So many great guys. So the list goes on of the players I played with and against and became friends with. I've become friends with Warren Moon and, it's really an honor to be in that circle and in the club of football players, National Football League players at that.
Ruben, was this your first nomination for the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Had you been nominated before?
Yes, I think it was 2015 I was nominated, and I forget how far it got, but, just being nominated for me as an offensive lineman is a great honor because it says that someone's thinking about you, someone respected the time and the effort I put into the game of pro football, and, we're happy about it.
That was my next question. Do you feel like it's tougher for offensive linemen to get the attention for a Pro Football Hall of Fame as opposed to, the guys who get all the headlines, the quarterbacks, the running backs, guys like that?
Yes, it is. The other positions have stats that you can, measure up against other athletes in the league and say, hey, Randy Moss and Terrell Owens, they had all the receiving yards, and Dan Marino, Joe Montana, those guys had the passing yards. Guys like Tony Dorsett, Curtis Martin, they had the rushing yards. What do offensive linemen have? They don't have anything, and it just has to be something that people notice, and as an offensive lineman, it's very hard to be noticed as a standout athlete. Your coaches and your competitors really have to be the ones to speak for you.
I'll tell you what, though, Ruben, I'd love to get your perspective on this because, nowadays we've seen, the valuations, and maybe this is just more monetarily than anything, but, offensive linemen, I mean, we're seeing running backs devalued to a degree, from a financial standpoint. And we're seeing, I mean, what do we see? 4 offensive linemen go in the top, 10 or 15 picks this year in the, in the first round of the NFL draft. I mean, with all the money being paid and as important as quarterbacks are, folks really now understanding how important it is to make sure they're protected.
Well, I think it's the way the game is played. I think a position that's devalued probably more than just the running back itself is the fullback. There practically aren't any fullbacks left in the NFL. I played with some of the greats. One of the greatest ones that I played with was Sam Gash, and he's going unnoticed and unrecognized. And if you spoke to every football player that played in the era when Sam Gash was a fullback, they will revere him as probably the best fullback to ever play the game, but yet his name has yet to be mentioned in the Hall of Fame talk. So, that's what makes it a little bit more special for myself and other linemen because, we know how hard it is to be recognized.
Ruben, I know you officially retired back in 2009. You did some media work, I believe, with the Bills after that. Are you still doing some media stuff in the Buffalo area?
No, I gave that career up and, to focus on being a full-time stay-at-home dad.
There you go.
But now that is kind of, calming down, I'm picking up a few gigs here and there. I still, stay in contact with the Buffalo media and, I do guest appearances from time to time, but nothing full-time anymore.
Do you still watch a ton of football? And I'm guessing, being on Long Island, that you, if you want to see good football, you better have the Sunday ticket because the Jets and Giants really stink this year.
Yeah, it is brutal to be in this part of the country and watch football. But I don't watch as much as I used to. And when I watch now, I don't have any favorites. A lot of people ask me, who do you favor, Chicago or Buffalo? And I really don't favor any team. I really enjoy watching just the simple competition of it because, after you've been on the inside of playing for so many years, you just see how guys are executing and how they're playing the game, who's playing well at their position. So I can watch any team. I can watch the Green Bay Packers and still get the same enjoyment as if I'm watching the Buffalo Bills or the Chicago Bears.
Ruben, your Bills are 4-0. They're playing very well, and Josh Allen is off to a great start at quarterback for Buffalo.
Yes, and we're very happy with our coach up there. What is he, a William and Mary grad? Sean McDermott.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's done a great job of coming into Buffalo and creating a new culture there. And I think they've got something going that's going to take them into the playoffs and hopefully to the Super Bowl. I mean, I'd love to see that, but you know, the game of football is just so tough. You know, injuries and things like that can derail the season. So it's a drama that we continue to watch each week. We enjoy to watch it, but, you know, I'm still a fan of the game of football.
Ruben Brown joining us here on the Sportsline. All pro offensive lineman for the Bills, and also with the Bears, and of course Pitt and EC Glass back in his high school days here in the Lynchburg area, and now living up on Long Island. I'm telling you, Ruben, all the car horns right now, you know, it's bringing me back. I remember.
Yeah.
It's making me a little homesick for Long Island. You talked about just enjoying the game. What players do you enjoy watching?
Oh, my goodness. Now, you know, I have a deep affection for all the University of Pittsburgh players. So I really enjoy watching Sam Darnold. No, not Sam Darnold. The defensive lineman for the Rams. He is just one of the best defensive linemen I've seen in a long time, and I would love to be able to be on the field now to either compete against him and see how it is, how I would fare playing against such a great talent. And the rest of the guys around the league, I really enjoy the quarterback down in Texas. I like watching him. I like to see the progress. I'm really watching Larry Fitzgerald to see how long can this guy do it. You know, I'm like, how long can this guy be that great? And he's an awesome person in general. Anyone that has come in contact with him or met him, they would say the same thing. So, you know, there's a lot of different storylines that I watch throughout the year, you know, and different players to see how they progress and what their season's going to be like. So there's tons of guys to watch.
Ruben, let me get your thoughts on a local guy who's doing very well with your Buffalo Bills, Tremaine Edmonds out of GW High School and Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
What do you think of that young kid?
Well, everyone in Virginia is excited for him. And when you're from Virginia, you look for the other Virginia players to cheer them on, to root them on, because, you know, I personally have a complex about Virginia, thinking that we have probably some of the best athletes that go unrecognized in the national sports level. I know a lot of guys either from California or Pennsylvania or Texas and Florida. These guys garner a lot of attention a lot of times. But every time you mention a great player from Texas, California, Pennsylvania, or Ohio, there's at least two or three from Virginia that are just as good or better. So I love watching the Virginia athletes kind of show up the rest of the nation to say, hey, we have just as good or better than what you have in your state.
Let me correct myself. Dan River High School. I was thinking of Tremaine's dad, Farrell Edmonds, who played for GW High School, but Tremaine was at Dan River High School. Before I get any phone calls on that, let me ask you about your high school, though, Ruben. EC Glass. What was it like playing for some of the coaches you had at Glass, the Bo Hensons, the late Dennis Peters? Tell me just kind of what it was like playing for the EC Glass Hilltoppers.
Well, I would say this. Anyone that has known me, whether it's been college or pro, they all know about the mighty, mighty hill toppers. I spent lots of time in the locker room arguing how great we were and how great our school was. I believe that Easy Glass is and was when I was there and is one of the greatest high schools in the country of the United States of America. Hands down, it's hard to beat. The professionalism, the commitment to the players and the school and the community that Bo Henson has had for us, and everyone really goes a long way. I'm more than just Coach Henson's, I would say, player. I didn't. It's more. We've become a family. He's my friend now. He's like a father figure to me, and he was that way in college, but it's continued my entire life. When I was at home, I spent time with Coach Henson, and we sit down and we talk like old buddies that hadn't seen each other in a long time. And I really, truly love him and the organization and the group of guys that were there coaching me while I was in high school. And it couldn't have been a better experience. No young man had a better experience in high school with his coach and team than I did.
I believe I heard, Ruben, weren't you down recently to get in a little fishing maybe with Coach Henson?
Yes, we were down there to go fishing, but we didn't fish. We sat around and talked all day and, reminisced and everything. I'm actually building a cabin in Amherst County where I grew up. I grew up in Piney River area down there, if anyone knows.
Nice.
And, so it's time for my brother and myself to kind of have a home base back there so we can always gather and make sure that we can see our family and friends on a regular basis.
Awesome stuff, Ruben. Awesome stuff. Thank you so much for taking a couple minutes for us. It was great to catch up, and we'd love to stay in touch and do it again.
Please do. Call me anytime, guys. I'm always here for you.
Appreciate that, Ruben. Great to talk with you.
All right. Same here. Take care.
Ruben Brown joining us here on the Sportsline.